fine balance between theory and practice. And we do this through involving also our corporate and alumni network through extracurricular activities, such as guest lectures, courses, and company visits. Okay, so there's a poll at this junction, so we can start with the poll and then I'll talk more about the curriculum of the MEL program.
Yeah, so the poll is about which subjects interest you the most. Is it maritime business, economics, operation and supply chain, or others? If it's others, you may just write it down in the chat window as well. So fairly good participation. We've got about 90% votes as well. Let me end the poll and share the results.
Okay.
Yeah, what alumni in favor of the maritime business? 48% of the persons would like to, learn more about the maritime business as such.
Okay, great. But I need also a little bit of the other ones, so that's good. Yeah, so as you can see, the MEL program has a extensive curriculum of 14 core courses, and the curriculum is quite widespread throughout the different aspects of the industry itself. So it goes from economics to logistics and supply chain management, and even covers maritime law, maritime logistics, shipping economics and policy, transport economics. So the MEL program will give you a very wide range of information of the different subjects within the industry. So if that's something that you are interested in and this package can do, then it is indeed an option. Again, as Abhishek mentioned, if you are more interested in something more specific, such as just shipping finance, then this indeed may not be the program for you. As within the MEL program, you learn a little bit of everything just to give you as much knowledge about the industry as possible. Now, how the MEL program is set up is that we work in blocks of 3 weeks, during which you will follow 3 courses, and the last part is dedicated to the thesis. So it is a very intense program where you need to get your time management up to date and in order quite quickly, which can be quite difficult, especially if you have been out of education for quite a while. So yeah, just be aware of that, I would say. And we do also work in different parts with the different courses running in different parts, and we kind of build on what we do teach. So we start with economics, statistics, marine technology, innovations, and then from there we build a bit on those core courses, which are more foundation information that you will later need, such as also for shipping economics, transport economics, and for management science. It's good to have that as foundation. So it does kind of ease you into it a bit, but yeah, it is very intensive with you doing all of 3 courses within each time. And then also in the last part, from April to July, you also follow minor courses. So you can either choose between port management or maritime logistics, which allow you to specify a bit more into the subject area that you're most interested in. So that could be indeed more about ports or more about the logistics. So you do have that option in the last part. And that runs, so, well, let's say end of June, maybe into the first week of July, you will be then completely done with the core courses that you need to follow. And then from July onwards, you have time to then solely focus on the thesis, which is a major part of the MEL curriculum. It counts for 12 credits of the 60 credits that you need to graduate the program. And so, yeah, it is a big deal, but you do get a few good months in the summer to work on it. And the thesis is there to show that you can apply the knowledge that you have learned throughout the course and to apply it to a maritime problem and do this in a methodological way and show that, because we are part of a research university, that you can do that successfully. And you are able to choose your own topic for this. We encourage you to already work on this and decide this earlier on in the year in January, so that you can start a bit already on the thesis, so that when the time comes in July, you're ready to sit down and actually write it, have enough time to collect data, do any surveys, research, anything that you need to do. And you, of course, will be given a supervisor to help you with this. And at the end, you have to defend your thesis in order to graduate from the program. It is possible to do an internship that is research related, thesis related, that then can help you have more easily a topic or a problem that needs to be fixed, or data from a company that they're willing to give you if you help them with this information. So that is very possible. You do have to take the initiative and find this yourself. We do not provide this for you. And then we have a quick poll about the thesis, I see. Which topic? Okay.
Yeah, it's about, what would you like to probably research upon, what makes you most inquisitive. So it's in terms of hierarchy, it's most related to shipping, or I mean, moderately related to shipping is the second option, and outside shipping, you would like to do something just outside shipping. All right, I'll wait for 3 or 4 more seconds, and then I'll close the poll. Closing the poll and sharing the results. And so most persons would like to, are more inquisitive about topics which are related to shipping, maybe not very core to shipping. Very specific to shipping comes second, and outside shipping a distant third.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good to already have an idea. And yeah, throughout the course, as you follow the different courses and you learn different things, then that will also help you get an idea of what you are interested, what you would like to pursue, what you would like to then look into, which of course you do have to find something that does interest you, because we'll be spending quite a lot of time on it. That's always important. Okay, and as mentioned previously, this beyond the core courses that we teach you and give you, which are of course are already good qualification to have the knowledge to then advance your career into the job that you want. We also like to give you extra additional tools that will then help you, let's say, strengthen your toolkit that you can then step out into the world with to the different companies. And we do this through different extracurricular activities that we offer to the students, and also just to help balance the theory that you may hear within the courses with actual practical applications of it within a company itself, so you can see how that compares. And so, yeah, as we said, we do this by involving our corporate and our alumni network. And it also helps you, gives you the opportunity to network. And the alumni show a steady and good career advancement through the years. And so it is indeed a very useful tool that we have, that you can have then access to when you join the MEL program. So the first thing that's, the MEL corporate network, this is just an overview of the companies that we have within our corporate network. And like I said, some are come and actually teach some of the courses as well from our corporate network, so that those courses are already quite for practical as well. Yeah, the first thing that we have is a distinguished lecture series. which is a series of open lectures on, of course, a Mel-related subject given by prominent speakers. And it just provides an opportunity to interact in actual business environments, and then hear knowledge that you've learned in class and what is shared with the actual professionals. And like I said, it gives you a chance to network. And then here below, we've just listed a couple of previous DLS speakers that we have had come to visit. So it ranges from different companies, as you can see, and also quite different industries as well, because we have the senior credit officer shipping offshore from DVB Bank, because of course shipping finance is also a big part of it, the trading in Shell, and then the managing director of Hapag-Lloyd has come as well. And then we also go on company visits, both in the Netherlands and abroad, to actually hear from the company about what they do, about their culture, just give more insight into the company as well. And again, here we have listed some of the companies that we visit. On the left-hand side are the ones in the Netherlands, and on the right-hand side are the ones that we went to in Copenhagen, which is where we've been going as our trip abroad in the past few years. And then we also offer professional development courses, which we believe address the career development of active professionals. And these are more intensive courses that range for 3 hours and 2 to 3 days durations. The ones that we have currently are all a minimum of 10 hours at least. So this is really a full course really that you then complete. And once you've completed it, you also earn a certificate at the end so that you can show that you have completed these. And the ones that we currently offer are BIMCO, so that's the chartering BDC, and then we also have Introduction to Liner Operations and Project Management, which is a very useful tool nowadays, and can also help you with your time management for the course itself. So that is double-handed in this case. And then, like I said, we also have our Mel Alumni Community. We have over 700 alumni in our community right now, which are all over the world. It's very active. So yeah, once you are, even before you come to the Mel program, most of them are very open to give you information, insight about the program itself, their experience of it, so that you can get more insight of whether it's a good fit for you. And also beyond Mel, when you graduate, it's just an extension of a corporate network, because obviously they're all now working within the maritime industry as well. So they could be a contact for you in the future for any business that might need to be done. And they also come and speak to you on occasion for the alumni lecture series. This also give you some insight about how they experience the Mel program, how their life turned out after graduating from Mel, what they're up to and everything. So that's a great asset as well that we have for the Mel program. And then beyond the extracurricular activities that we also offer what we call the career development track, which is the different career services to give you the possible tools that you need to have a successful career after Mel, which include a CV check, a motivation letter workshop, individual interview training, where you actually do a mock interview training session with a professional, and also a training in how to find and apply for a job, where you have 3 sessions with a particular coach to go through all the steps to help you find and apply for a job, and also coaching sessions that are linked to the training, so you have one-on-one extra time to ask the questions specifically about the training that you follow. Because of course it's very important to know, like, when you do invest in such a program as this, and you take a year out of your life to come and study, like, what are my prospects afterwards? Now that Mel does not offer any placements once you graduate, you do have to find them yourself, as we mentioned previously. But we have found that Mel alumni have a good success rate in finding a job in the desired field, either in the Netherlands, their home country, or wherever they may want to go. And as you we found that on average 10% of the MEL class finds a job prior to graduation, more than half within 1 month after graduation, and after 3 months already 70% will have found a job. And we do actually show the LinkedIn profiles of the alumni on our website to give you an idea of the types of positions and careers that they have after they graduated from MEL. And it could also be a good option to check those as well from prior to coming, not just to see what they get up to after, but you can also then check what they were doing before. And then maybe if they match your situation, you can reach out to them and talk to them how they experienced the MEL program, get some more information about what it's actually like to do it, which most of them are happy to help with as well. And yes, there are a wide variety of positions that our alumni hold. Here below, we've just listed a number of them, but it's more widespread than we can list here. We can't, of course, list all of them, but this is just to give you an idea of potential positions you can hold after you graduate from MEL. Of course, also depending on what you're interested in, what your experience is previously. And these are then also on the right-hand side, the companies that they've started to work for once they've graduated from the MEL program, which, as you can see, many companies have a link to the maritime industry. So there's also a wide variety of options that are available to you once you do graduate from the MEL program. Oh, sorry, I missed the poll as well that there is for this part of the presentation.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. So what is the most important deciding factor for you to choose the course? Return on investment, job opportunity, learning outcomes, a visa after a study? Yeah, I'll wait for another couple of seconds and then I'll end the poll. Okay. And rightly so, 60% of the persons are looking for a sure job, and the majority next is on the return on investment they make on their career, on their education. So those are the key factors when they decide to choose a course.
Yeah, those are indeed very important deciding factors. So definitely something to keep in mind for sure. Okay, all right. Then we have the application requirements. So this is just to give you information should you indeed be interested in applying to the MEL program, how can you go about it? Well, we need a couple of documents from you. Firstly, we need the filled in completed MEL application form. We also need, if necessary, translated into English, the authenticated transcript and diploma from each higher education institution that you have attended. The minimum requirement that is needed for the MEL program is that you have a bachelor's degree or, on very rare occasions, an equivalent professional experience. We also need 2 letters of recommendation. These letters of recommendation can either be professional or academic or both. So that is up to you. And we also need proof of English proficiency, either through an IELTS with a minimum 6.5 overall score or a TOEFL test with a minimum of 90 overall. Exceptionally, if you can prove that the bachelor was taught in English, then that can also be used as proof of English proficiency. And once you have these documents ready, they can be uploaded in the online application form on the MEL website. But once you are accepted, we do need to see the hard copies of the documents, especially the transcript and diploma. The process is as follows. Once we receive the application, it will be confirmed that we have indeed received the application. Then it will be reviewed by the admissions committee as a whole, and they will make their decision. The MEL program does applications on an ongoing basis. So we do work on a first come, first served basis. So throughout the year, we are accepting applications and we work on an ongoing basis. Once the admissions committee decision has been decided, you of course will be informed. If you are accepted, you will get an acceptance letter, or otherwise you will get an email in which we let you know that you have been rejected. Something that is important to note, as I mentioned, that we do take in applications on an ongoing basis to secure your seat. Once you are accepted, we do ask for an advance payment to secure your seat of 25% of the tuition fee, just to ensure that you do indeed have a seat, because we do also keep the limit of the class sizes to a certain amount, so that we can indeed guarantee that there's enough people for discussion and everything, and that it's not too many people in the room. So that is just something we ask for. And then a bit about the tuition fee and living costs. So the duration of the program is 12 months, and it starts every year in October. So the next intake will be October this year, so 2022. The tuition fee for this year is 27,250 euros. This is just an overview of the estimated living expenses that you might have when you do move to the Netherlands. So that is also something to take into account when you do budget for a potential move here for a year. And then also, most likely you will need to have a visa and or residence permit in order to be able to study here. So the university does do this for you and applies for this for you. You just need to deliver to us a number of documents that are needed. So this will start in around June, in which you will get the information with everything that you need. In order for us to start the application procedure, the full tuition fee, the immigration fee, which is between 100 and 300 euros depending on the year, and the proof of living fee, which is the amount that the Dutch government sets is the minimum that you need to be able to live here for a year, which is around 11,000 euros. They need proof of that as well. And we need to receive that before we can apply for your visa and for residence permits. And like I said, you need to supply some of relevant documents, but this will all be told which ones you will need to send to us. This is all done in an online system, so you can easily just click on the answers there, upload the documents. So it's very straightforward. Once the application has been sent, the IND, which is the Dutch Immigration Services, has 60 days to process the application, and we can only start the application 90 days prior. So we always like to have everything ready to send out immediately when we are able to in July, so that we have enough time for them to process the application, so that you have your visa and the residence permit ready well in time before the start of the MEL program. And once your visa and residence permit application has been approved, then you're able to apply for one for your family, so that they can travel with you to the Netherlands. You have a family that you want to have travel with you. And also something that's good to know is that once you graduate from a Dutch university, you get something which is called the search year, which is a year in which you can search for a job within the Netherlands. So that gives you some leeway to, if you want to stay in the Netherlands and find a job here, you have a year to do so. And the search year, you have to apply for within 3 years of graduation. So if you decide, oh, no, I want to go back to my home country for a year or two, you can do that. And then in the third year, come and move back to the Netherlands to look for a job, that's possible. You just have to use it within 3 years of graduating. And oh, sorry, I see there's a poll as well for this slide.
Yep, this was to do with the immigration. So how many persons would like to settle in Europe? Couple of more seconds and then I'll end the poll. Okay. And I'm sharing results. About 80% of the attendees would like to settle in Europe.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, then indeed, yeah, the search here is on something very relevant to you, and it gives you so many ways to indeed stick around and find something here in the Netherlands that then fits for you. So that's good information to have. And then also give you a bit of information about housing information. Most of you will be moving here and living here for a year, so it's also important to know like where can and will you live. So Mel does reserve a number of student accommodations in the student hotel, which is furnished room in the student hotel, which offers a lot of different other facilities as well. But in the student hotel, the rental price is from 862,000 euros. So it is quite a big part of your budget that you might have. Of course, there are also other options available to you. There is other student accommodation that is available to you. That's something that you're interested in. That is either on campus or just around in the vicinity of the campus. So it's still in the area of where the campus is located. So that is also a possibility. Some of them do have some restrictions, so not all of them may be applicable to you. And of course, there's also the option that you find something on the private market. Rotterdam is a big student city, of course, because the university is here. So there's a lot of student accommodation also available in the private market. That might be a fit for you, or if you are traveling with your family, the private market might also be a better fit for you, as you can just find something there for your family. There's a whole detailed overview of all this information on the website that we've linked below, so you can check it once you receive the slides to see which is best for you, and you can also get an idea of price range and everything to see if it fits within the potential budget that you may have already planned out. And then now I would like to pass the floor back to Abhishek, because that's everything so far that I have about the MEL program. Of course, once we're done and we answer questions, if any come up, then we can go back to that. But just some final reflections from Abhishek now that it's been a number of years since he graduated.
Thanks, Felicia. Yeah, you can open up all the points in there. Well, I understand there was a lot of information that Felicia shared on this regarding the course. Some very, very technical matters, and I see in the chat also there are quite a few questions that we can take forth in the Q&A. But I can tell you from my perspective, if I'm looking at, okay, I've been here 6 years now after I've passed out. What is my opinion? I mean, one line I will say that I have no regrets. I'm very happy I came and did the MEL course. I think for me the timing was absolutely right. I think in terms of my career where I was, I think it was the right time for me to move on. So for me everything probably fell in the right place at the right time. More importantly, what I see that after having done MEL, what it definitely does help me is allows me to critically analyze, what are the different factors affecting the industry. In my line of work, I do a lot of consulting work, both paid as well as pro bono. And it really helps me a lot, understanding the different aspects of economics, understanding trade dynamics. So I'm able to bring all of that together into my line of work. And that is something I would say I wouldn't have been able to do without the MEL course. Number two, what it does help me is it has given me the ability to invest my time and effort in research-based activity. So I do a lot of research as well. I have in fact even published an academic paper in the last couple of years. It's out of my own interest, so I really like doing that. And again, that wouldn't have been possible without having done the MEL. Then next is about having an expanded network. So, and let's not discount the importance of having an expanded network. While we are, just sailing on ships, and let's say, we have a very, very small network. And what is important is you have to expand that network if you want to grow. If you want to grow, if you want to, learn about more new things, you have to have an expanded network. And the MEL provides a very apt platform for you to go out and meet people, from ancillary industries around shipping itself, shipping and ports. And that allows you to grow, grow and learn more about what are the different pain points that are happening. Where is it that you can add value to it? So that is where I think the value of an expanded network that comes from a mid-career education, especially like MEL, is very, very important and a very key aspect. Then it's about, I'd say your scope for growth in career is far more wider. And having done MEL, I feel that, I get a lot of more opportunities than I would have had without having done the MEL. So there's absolutely no doubt there that having done the MEL definitely gives me a lot more opportunities than if I hadn't done the course. And finally, most importantly, it has given me a great bunch of friends for seeking advice. Because as even Felicia mentioned, your cohort in the course is not just students who are from the shipping field itself. They are from multiple industries, from multiple continents in the world. So you get a lot of different perspectives. So it has given me a great bunch of friends for seeking advice and having fun. And also, in my line of work, I do travel a bit. I go to a different place. Sometimes I don't want to stay in a hotel. I at least have a couch to lie on. It definitely helps me.
All right. Thanks, Abhishek, for your perspective. And consulting is a fairly demanding job, and I mean, and a very sought after job as well. And without any skill enhancement, without upskilling yourself, it's extremely difficult to get such kind of positions. And once you get into consulting, then the kind of variety of jobs that you get, it really helps you to personally to develop as well. So good to know. Yeah. All right. So Felicia, maybe we can stop the presentation. What I'll do is I'll quickly share a presentation on if you're interested for the course, how CN Beyond could help you. So essentially, the idea is, we do these webinars for opportunities. You can have expert calls. We are into the recruitment. We are into the education sector as well. So if you need any support in terms of filling the forms and all, that's where we could help you. So the idea is, we'll try and empower and guide you so that you can achieve whatever you wanted to achieve in the most efficient manner. So that's what we would want. That's our motto. We'll also, for a lot of these programs, if you need any financial assistance, so for example, this is about 27,000 euros. So we've just tied up with another company which will offer the loans. And for some institutes, it will be including the living expenses, and for some it will be just the tuition fees as such. We help you in the forex remittance as well, so that's where CN Beyond could help you. And in terms of visa assistance, accommodation, CV, SOP preparation, all of this is where CN Beyond could also assist you if you want to go ahead with any of these courses. We'll go to the Q&As now. A lot of question and answers, a lot of questions in the chat, and I'll start from the I'll start from the top. Okay, so the first one from Bijo. Is there something specific to chartering, or maybe commercial shipping is maybe what you would want to ask in this particular course?
Yeah, Gaurav, can I take that? So Bijo, firstly, I understand, when you're coming from a sailing background, we think that chartering is a very complex issue. Honestly, chartering is not a complex issue. It is something fairly, very, very simple. And let's not forget, MEL is an academic course. Yeah, it's an academic course given by a world-reputed university. So it has to have academic relevance. Now, chartering, if you want to move into chartering and you want to get, understand basics of chartering, that is more of a specialism in the profession itself. So for that, I will highly recommend that you do something in terms of the professional qualifying exams of the Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. That is all you will need. You don't need to do an academic course like MEL to learn about chartering. That being said, if you do the MEL, you already get three papers exemptions from the ICS exams. And again, if you want to learn more about the ICS exams, you can always contact me, because I also do a fair amount of work for the ICS as well.
Thanks, Abhishek. Soumya directly actually sent a question to me, and which is second in the line. So his question was, we're talking more about, or maybe that's what he felt, and more about the top 4 ranks. As such, he's an electrical engineer, and so maybe I'll just make this question a little generic. Is this course relevant to maybe the non-top 4 officers, and maybe the persons who are not sailing as well? What's the relevance for persons within those domains as well?
Okay. Well, it's relevant if you are interested in pursuing a job that is within the maritime industry, that you think you need this academic knowledge for to help you then pursue that job. So if that's where your interest lies, then MEL could indeed be relevant for you. If that's not where your interest lies at all, then no. So yeah, it just depends where your interest lies and what you see happening in your career.
Yeah.
So
I think Felicia put it quite nicely there. So I would look at it this way, look at target roles that you want to end up in. And then from there, take a step back and look, okay, if I want to go do that particular role, where am I right now? What is missing? What kind of skill set is missing for me to be able to transition into that role? And then look at the curriculum that is being offered by the MEL, or let's say any other course, and look, if I do this, does that fill in the gap for me to be able to do that particular role? That is how you get to decide. Now, again, so you have to look at what is your target role, what is, where are you right now? Because probably you already fill in that skill set already. Then maybe you don't need to do a 1-year course to do a particular role. You don't need it. So you need to do a particular mid-career education to fill in a particular gap, or to upskill yourself to be able to do a role that is that is a level higher than where you are right now.
Yep. Makes sense. So just in terms of stats, Felicia, how many students in the batch are from non-shipping background, and how many from sailing background, if I may say?
Sailing background specifically, that varies very much, of course, per year. But I would say each year we have at least 1 or 2 students that do come from a sailing background, at least. So there's always someone there who has a sailing background.
Okay. So the persons from sailing background are generally in minority, and there are enough and more non-sailing persons as well.
Yeah.
Great. Question from Gunjesh, and this is related to the thesis work. Do students get an opportunity to select their area of thesis, or is it mandated by the school's committee to select from the available resources?
No, you can choose your own topic. Of course, it has to in the subject matter of the program that you're following. So you can't do something completely different, but you get to decide your own topic. So whatever you're interested in within this course, within this industry, is open to for you to choose.
Great.
Yeah, if I can add there, Gaurav. So again, Felicia did mention it during her slides. The thesis happens to be that's 9 credits. So that's almost 15% of your total coursework, and it is something that that is going to be very personal to you. You have to decide what is it that you want to do, and I will highly recommend for you to choose a thesis that you are invested into. That is something that you are highly passionate about. You have to work hard towards it, and it's something that not that you do your thesis and forget about it. Think of something that you're going to work upon and probably use it for the next 10-15 years, so as a segue into your career. So of course, I mean, you can just come and just pick any simple topic and just get by, but I would highly recommend you are coming here, spending a full year, spending a lot of money and effort. So pick a subject that you're passionate about, pick a subject where you can contribute, where you can learn something more, and take it even further.
Thanks. And did you choose your topic once you were there, or you before even coming to Erasmus, did you already have something in mind?
Well, as I started off saying, I was a direct entry cadet. The only thing I knew was shipping. So obviously for me, my entire working life has been spent in shipping and in ships. Whatever the thesis that I wanted to develop was, I wanted it to be very specific to shipping, but I also wanted to include real world elements in terms of, okay, what is right now happening. So at that point of time, I had selected decarbonization as my main theme, and how I could include that whole theme into shipping. And it really helps me now, because right now everybody's talking about decarbonization and shipping. So yeah, it's quite easy for me to pick out some elements from my thesis and talk about it.
You were way ahead of your time 6 years back. All right. A question from Ubesh Javed. In terms of English proficiency test, can a person give Duolingo? That's one. And if it's IELTS, is it the general training or academic one?
Yeah, Duolingo is not accepted. So what we do accept is the ones I mentioned, so that's IELTS and TOEFL. And IELTS is the academic one.
Okay. And how does a person prove that he had, his bachelor's was in English? There's an answer from Shoaib as well, but how, from the university perspective, what proof do you need?
Quite often it is written on the transcript that it was taught in English. If it's not written anywhere or stated explicitly anywhere on any of those documents, then a letter from the university stating that it was taught in the English letter will suffice.
Okay. So for most persons from India, this would be, I mean, you probably wouldn't have to do IELTS because all of us are taught, most of us are taught in English medium. So question from Chetan, is there any distance learning course offered by the university as well?
Not maritime related. No, not from the MEL. We don't offer any long distance learning. So no.
Okay. Question from Gunjesh, and this is related to the immigration formalities. And you said we had to show 1 year living expenses in your account. So for how long would those funds have to be in the account as per the mandate from the immigration department?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are very specific limitations to this. I don't believe there's a limitation on the length that it has been in there, but they do need it to be like clear that the amount that is in there can be withdrawn at any time. So it's not in some kind of safety deposit account. It's something that you can use when you need it, and the account has to be fully in your name with the details, all your personal details clearly on there. That account is in your name. But yeah, more specific information will be sent about this as well closer to the time.
If I can add there, Felicia, Gaurav, my recommendation will always be do it via the university. That is, send in that living expenses, 10,000 or 11,000 euros into the university's account. So then the entire processing is done as streamlined as possible. Yeah. What will happen is if you are being asked to prove that you have funds, which means you will be showing your funds in Indian rupees from an Indian bank. So now think of it from the perspective of a guy sitting in the immigration team. He's going to be sifting through these bank statements from a different country, and then he or she will start having multiple doubts. So try to make it simple for everybody and just do it this way. It's far more simpler. And the moment you are here in the country, the university will transfer that money back to your to your own account, and so it's much more streamlined and much more easier for you that way.
Yes, correct. We do always suggest that, especially because you have then the tuition fee, the immigration fee. Then you need to transfer as well, that if you have it all, your account is transferred the full amount at once. And so we have that once it gets enough proof, once you're in the Netherlands, then it gets refunded right back to you. And then you have it also already immediately in your Dutch account all there together as well. So,
yeah, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't think the university charges you anything for this. I don't know. I mean, that's what I remember. I don't remember them charging me anything.
no.
Very useful tip. Thank you. Next question from Niharika on the spouse visa. You did touch upon it, Felicia, in your presentation. You can give me more details. When can a person apply for spouse visa? You did tell the option is there, but how can he apply? When can he or she apply?
Yeah. So once your visa and residence permit application has been approved, then you can go ahead and apply for the spouse/family for their visa and residence permit application.
And can the spouse work as well?
No, not on that one. No.
Okay.
No. Of course, once they're here, they can find a company, but if they want to work, they'll need to find a company that will then sponsor their work visa for them. So it is possible if they can find a company who's willing to do that. But on the residence permit that they will gain as like a spouse residence permit, that on that specific one, it's not possible to work.
Okay. But so Abhishek, the spouse could possibly apply for, I mean, talk about to companies for a job, and then they could give them a working visa. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, the spouse, if the spouse wants to join here, then that is a dependent visa, and that on that visa the spouse cannot work. But once the spouse is here, yeah, of course the spouse can go ahead and looking for jobs, and if the spouse, he or she gets a job, uh, then that particular company will have to sponsor the visa.
Question from Obesh, visa formalities, can they be done while a person is sailing? I would assume no, because you'll have to submit your passport and all, but you can fill the application and everything else while you are sailing. But applying for visa, you might have to be ashore. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If you have access to the internet and you have already, because the documents you can fill in online and upload them as such. So also if you already have a scan of your passport with you somehow on and you can upload that as well, then that's fine. So as long as you have access to the internet, then you can access the system in which you need to upload everything and can upload everything as well. The only thing is, at one point you will need to travel to the embassy to do the biometrics and submit your passport. So you do need to be ashore at that point to be able to go and do that.
Okay, so you can start the process and you can end it when you're ashore.
Yeah, and it might be possible, because it is at some point possible to also just fill in your passport and have it mailed back to you, and then you do the biometrics at a later date for the rest, because you need biometrics to make the residence permit. But I don't want to say that with 100% guarantee, but I think that should be possible as well. But that needs to be looked into further.
I think so as well, because from what I remember is when I started my visa process, I was still sailing, and then it was sometime in August that I came over to Bombay to give my biometrics at the embassy.
Okay. Question from Chetan about scholarships that the university provides. You did talk about it. Want to maybe talk about a little bit in detail about this?
Yeah, no, good question. Indeed, I haven't mentioned that previously, so good question. From the MEL itself, we have one scholarship that we provide, and that's what we call the SCF scholarship, which is you submitting an essay, and then based on the essay and all the essay submissions, some winners are chosen, and they are granted 10 to 20% scholarship waiver. So it's not a full ride scholarship, but a waiver of 10 to 20% of the tuition that is given by the MEL itself. Yeah.
Okay. So there's one scholarship for about 20% of the course fees based on an essay.
Yeah.
And this question from Akshay, I think this is, I also had the same question on the digitization specific, content within the course, and it was there in the presentation, but some more details because I think this is extremely important in today's day and age to have a view about the digitization, especially in the shipping logistics industry. So any content, so does the program course have any digitization specific course? And if so, if you could give us more details.
Yeah, okay. There is not a specific course in digitization that is currently being offered. Of course, it is something that is happening, so it does get mentioned in some of the other courses and touched upon, depending on, of course, such things as in port management, it will be covered. So actually there, digitization is quite present and everything like that. So it does get touched upon, and because the content also gets updated each year to what's currently happening within the shipping world, but there's not a specific course on digitization. No.
Okay, I can just add to that because I work in the digitalization space for ports. So if you're looking at learning programming and learning coding, then this is not the course for you. But if you're looking at how you can apply what is happening in ports, what's happening in shipping, and where you can apply newer technologies, then this is definitely one of the courses for you. Again, I just want to make it very clear, this is not going to make you a coding specialist or a programmer or an IT developer. But how do you mix and match? How do you add competencies and capabilities that are right now out there in the industry and apply that to this particular industry? Yes, this course will give you the necessary skills to do that. That being said, I do know that there is one module on business intelligence, as well as there is a one module on innovation in the maritime field. So these two modules do look at it from a very, I'd say, high level perspective.
Yeah, that's correct. And there's also the data science course, which you start in the beginning, which you do some coding, working with R, that is then continued on into the business analytics course that Abhishek mentioned, and as well in the management science course, you do continue using that tool throughout the program as well.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw in part 1, we have a marine technology and innovation course. So that's what you are talking right now, Felicia.
Yeah, and statistics, I see it still says it has turned into data science to make it more up to date as well, starting this year. So indeed, there you do coding and using R and programming and everything and such.
Okay, great. Okay, is the curriculum focused on all sectors of shipping, like tankers, LNG, chemicals, so different kind of commodities, or maybe just one particular commodity as such?
No, we do try to touch upon all the different areas. We have heard in the past it might be a bit container focused. So I would say the majority of the focus is on containers, but the rest is also covered as well. Yeah.
Okay. Question from Denzel: are students allowed to work part-time?
Well, this is both a program and immigration question, because on your residence permit that you will have, you are allowed to work maximum 16 hours per week. So that is part-time work that you are maximum allowed to do on the residence permit that you will have. So that is already restricted. And we do say, as I mentioned, it is a very intense program. We say that for each course that you follow within the 3 weeks, so the 3 courses that you follow within the 3 weeks are 1.5 credits. We say that amounts to about 28 study hours. So that times 3, you're already looking at like a full-time job, working hours wise, that you would need to put into your studies. So it will be very hard to then do a part-time job besides that. So we do tend to discourage it. Of course, everyone is different. For some, it might come easier. They might be able to manage their time better so that they are able to manage it. So it's, of course, up to your own discretion how you feel you can do. But we do very much discourage, especially in the first few months, we still are selling into studying in the program itself and everything, to take on a part-time job.
If I can just add there, my recommendation will be, please don't count on it. The course is academically quite rigorous. Okay, I again come to the point that this is an academic course. It is run by one of the top universities in the world. So it's not like that you're doing your second mates or class 4 exams. you can't you can't manage to give time for doing a part-time job as well as doing these assignments and studies. And again, that that completely kills the whole purpose of you coming to a foreign country and investing in a mid-career education. So don't count on it. But also some of these students are doing internships towards the later half of their of the course, and that of course most internships are definitely paid. But again, with internships, I have my own opinions there. I'll reserve it.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Bhupendra, I think this was answered earlier that there is no distance learning available for this course. And Hemant, your question on a spouse, is option for work visa for spouse available? Not through this course, but a spouse can come and then look for a job, and then the employers could sponsor that visa. Niranjan's question is GMAT required?
No, the GMAT is not originally required. The admissions committee may ask for this after reviewing the application if they still have some doubts or questions, which is then a way for you to prove whether you are then eligible or not, or whether you would be a good fit for the program or not. So it might be asked at a later date, but initially it is not required. No.
If I can just add there, Felicia, I see, like I was a direct entry cadet. Okay, so in my case, a GMAT was required because if you, any university will be wondering, can this particular candidate, will they be able to do, a master's course like this? Because even they are going to be taking a risk. But if you already have a bachelor's degree that is already being approved and which the university already recognizes, then I definitely don't see where there. Of course, there will always be exceptions, so they might ask. But if you don't have a proper degree, then definitely you should think of doing a GMAT. Is what I would think. Yeah. So in my case, that was how it was.
Thanks. Question from Gaurav. How many hours per day do we have classes?
Good question. There's no straight answer to how many hours per day. It is that each course has at least 10 hours of lecture hours. So within those 3 weeks, for those 3 courses, you have 30 hours of lectures hours that are spread over those 3 weeks. That can depend that sometimes you have 2 hours per day, sometimes you have 6 hours per day, then you have a day where you don't have any lectures. So it just also depends on the availability of the lecturer at that time. Like I said, some also do come from the business world and are working in a company, so they might have very limited time in which in that block they can teach you, so it's more compressed. Some are more spread out, so it really depends, but you can expect to have 30 lecture hours spread out over 3 weeks at least. So that can kind of give you an idea.
Okay, thanks. Question from Nishant. If a person is probably planning to sign off by October, is there an option? If he's signing off by October, can he apply and still join the course as soon as he signs off? If not, then can he join after a month or mid-session or so?
Okay, good question. Well, we do have around 2 weeks at the start of the program that are for introductions. So it's an introduction to the MEL program. We offer usually 2 of the PDC courses within those first few weeks, just to get you a bit Rotterdam to the program. So we don't start with the core courses until mid-October. So in that sense, if he can manage to then join by that time, then yes, it is possible. If not, we would have to look on it as a case-by-case basis, because depending on how much the person will miss, need to catch up on. And like I said, the core courses that are taught from the October to December period are what is then used to kind of build on later on. So we need to look at it by case, whether the person would then actually be able to continue on starting later, having missed those in the beginning or not. So, yeah.
Okay, noted. Thanks. So Hemant's question and Gaurav's question, I'll club them together. Job opportunities after the course, and is there a view of the expected pay scale, average pay scale as well?
Okay, well, as I said, job opportunities, we kind of went through kind of positions, companies you can work through. So whatever you're interested in, you can go and search in that area. Pay scale, it really just, that we can't say or give, because like I said, we have such a wide range of experience, backgrounds of people within the MEL program. So depending on whether you're starting off in a more junior position, in a more senior position, that will widely depend and change the pay scale that you start off in. So for that, there's no concrete answer that can be given.
You want to add, Abhishek?
Yeah, again, very much depends on what role you want to go into, and where you are, you know. So I mean, everybody thinks that, hey, you know, there's a master candidate who's who's doing the course, and there's also a second mate candidate doing the course. They are not going to be competing for the same job at all, you know. And in case they are, then there's something definitely wrong. They shouldn't be doing it, you know. So the guy who has already sailed as a master, he has got a completely different skill set. He should be looking for a different kind of a job profile than what a second mate is looking for. So, you know, you need to stick to, you know, what is your absolute you know, your floor, what is your floor salary that you're willing to work for. And yeah, and right now the job market is extremely hot. It's a completely employee market. There are jobs just flying around like hot pancakes, and yeah, people just get picked up very, very quickly nowadays in supply chain and logistics. So right now the job market is quite hot. It can change anytime, but right now it's quite hot. And more importantly, as I said, it's a complete spectrum of salary scales that you're looking at. Either way, don't forget that, you know, when you finish a master's course, something as specialized as this, you are already a highly skilled professional. So you are definitely going to be in the you know, I'd say in the definitely in the highest quartile of earners in a European country.
Okay. Thanks, Abhishek. Thanks, Felicia, for the perspective. Good question from Sagar. Is it advisable to shift transition from sailing a little early, you know, maybe during your junior officer days or in a senior officer engineer days?
Okay, I will take it first, okay, before Felicia comes in. Okay, so here, I have very strong opinions about this. If you enjoy sailing, if you enjoy being on board, then please don't quit until you become chief engineer or master. Please don't do it. Please continue sailing, because it is a very rewarding career, and it gives you lots of different life skills, lots of skill sets that can be used later in your career. So please continue doing it. Okay, and please don't quit after doing just one contract as chief engineer or one contract master. Do it for a while, because that will really help you. But if you don't enjoy sailing, you know, if you don't like it, you think, hey, it's a waste of time, you know, I don't have internet access, I don't have this, I don't have that, then you quit today. Don't continue, quit today, right now. Okay, so that is my opinion. So is there value to becoming a chief engineer or master? Yes, there is a big value to it. And it really it is valued when you move into a short career as well. and not just in ship management. I'm talking of even commercial operations, or you move into a consulting career like me, or you move into business development. Having had command experience is really valued a lot.
Thanks, Abhishek. Felicia, you have any views on this?
No, I think I'll leave it at what Abhishek said. He said it very well. So.
Sure. Nishant, I guess you've answered your question. Biju is specific to Abhishek, and SM does SM's question is, does MEL provide a gateway towards SCM sector, supply chain management sector, or should we stick to a core supply chain management course?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So after doing this course, can a person enter into the supply chain management as well? Is essentially the question.
Good, okay. If you're interested in specifically supply chain management, there is a course more specific to that taught by RSF. So you could consider going into that one. Of course, it is touched upon within this master as well. So you will get some knowledge information about it as well, including with everything else. And so I do believe whether you have this master or that master, eventually you can go into that area as well. But yeah, if you're really interested in purely supply chain management, it could be worth considering just going purely for a supply chain management master instead.
Yeah, I will again recommend, look at different profiles that your job profiles that you want to step into. In my opinion, MEL definitely prepares you very well for supply chain management roles. Unless, of course, you want to do something very, very specific that you have already scoped out. You're already very sure that, no, this is a very specific thing that I want to do in supply chain management. Then probably you have to look at something more specialized into supply chain management. But otherwise, I would think, yeah, MEL is preparing you well enough for any logistics or supply chain roles.
Okay. Question from Gaurav. Does the course help in building a business and get greater return on investment?
Can you please expand, Gaurav, on that question?
I would assume, there are a lot of courses, especially during, which are in MBA, which is related to entrepreneurship, right? So, so they have a module for, starting your own business. What are the key fundamentals? How do you start that? How do you make a business plan? And how do you actually find a business? So does the course prepare you for that?
In my opinion, the answer is no, it doesn't. And I think I will definitely bring it up to this MEL management that they should start thinking of including this. But at this point, I definitely think the answer is no. But yeah, Felicia, if you have any opinions on that.
Yeah, no, it's not into that. No, no.
Okay, thanks. Gurnoor's question, I guess the institute provide campus-based placements? Do you want to repeat that, Felicia, once?
Sorry, will we what?
Would the institute provide campus-based placements?
No.
No.
No, it's all up to you.
Okay.
Again, on that one, I just want to add that shipping is a very closed industry. Okay, even in India it is like that, and even here it is the same. It's a very, very closed industry. So in this closed industry, all these people like, let's say, Stolt or Maersk or Tom, Kuehne+Nagel, they know very well where are candidates with this kind of a very specific experience coming out from, and they all know MEL. They all know that that this is the pool that we need to tap into. So all these people, all these big companies, they all know men. You talk about Vopak, you talk about Kuehne+Nagel, Maersk. They all know the candidates coming out from Mel. So whichever most of these companies you go to, you'll always find there is definitely some Mel alumni or the other. There is no doubt about that. Also, what typically happens is, when let's say somebody in Vopak or somebody in Maersk, they see a vacancy within their company and they are a Mel alumni, they typically forward that vacancy back to the Mel office, and the Mel office then posts it to the alumni network. So it's again, I would say, a network effect here.
Makes sense, and that's how most of the foreign universities have their placements panned out. Question from Sunil, and this is for you, Abhishek. Approximate final figure of total cost involved. I would imagine this would have changed, Sunil, in the last 6 years. So he's asking for the total cost for visa, tickets, living expenses, other elements. So I think this was mentioned in the PPT. It probably would be the latest one, Sunil. I think so there's a view which is in the latest, which is provided by the university, but I think if you would like to touch upon this, and more importantly, any hidden cost, any cost which a person should probably be aware about, which hits him once he reaches there.
Well, in my opinion, in Felicia's slides, she had broken up these costs. I think that is quite well laid out. You have to take some buffer. I will put it as, living expenses at 1,500, 1,600 per month. That's quite sufficient to cover you, unless, of course, you are a little more boisterous and you want to go out every second day, and you have very high living expenses. Then, of course, then you have to start thinking of 2,000, 2,200 per month. Okay, but I would look at it at that range. And one very important thing that I'll definitely mention is, when you do your estimation of your budget, don't just think of the 12 months. Try to keep a 6 months buffer, and that's not because you might take 6 months to take a job. There are quite a few candidates who right now get even 3 months prior graduation. They are already having a job. So some candidates get a role within, let's say, 1 month after graduation. I would think the stats that Felicia put out are quite conservative. Right now, they are getting picked up for roles even before that. But as you are a little higher on the totem pole, let's say you are a fairly senior candidate, then the pool of jobs becomes quite much more narrow, because then you are looking for a very specific role. And then I expect you to be a little more selective. I don't want you to be picking up the first job that comes your way. Then you need to be a little more selective. You need to wait for that right role. Maybe the first 5 jobs that you get, you might not like it. You will say, no, I don't want this. So in that case, I will always say, try to keep a buffer of at least 6 months. If you can have a financial buffer of 6 months, then that is definitely the best. Of course, I do understand some people are not able to keep that buffer. Then at least a 3 months buffer you should be able to keep.
Makes sense. Question from Sharad: any exception in any subjects available if a person has already done a PGDM in shipping and logistics? So if a person has already done a relevant course, would he get exemption from any of the courses over there?
No exemptions.
Okay. Vivek is asking, are the letter of recommendation mandatory to submit with the form?
Yeah, we do need to get the letter of recommendations. You are able to, as long as you have your proof of English and your transcripts and diplomas ready, if you can send those ahead, and then we can have a conditional offer, conditional acceptance, and receive the recommendation letters at a later date, so that you don't delay your applications much longer than you need to. So that is an option. But everything else we do need within the package, let's say.
Yeah. Akshay is asking, is Dutch a prerequisite to get a job in Rotterdam?
Was it what, sorry?
Learning Dutch language, is it a prerequisite for a job?
It is not a prerequisite to get a job. I know plenty who do not speak any Dutch and are getting jobs. What I will say is that, especially in the Netherlands, especially in big cities as this, all the Dutch people speak English. So there could then be the tendency that obviously they can have a Dutch English speaking person that might get them priority over an only English speaking person, because then they have the language 2-in-1. So you might have some occasions where you feel like, okay, it's a bit hindering, but at the end of the day, I know plenty of people who do also have jobs without having learned any Dutch yet. So no, it's not a prerequisite. There's options for you out there. It might be a bit more tricky, but it is possible.
I can add there. No, Dutch is not a prerequisite for the roles that you are looking for. For the roles and companies that you are looking for are typically multinational companies, globally operating companies, where English is the medium of work. So you definitely don't need to know the language, Dutch language. But as you want to progress into your career and want to move further, yes, learning the language definitely helps for better integration. So I wouldn't say you need to know the language right away in the first 5 years, but it will definitely help if you can start learning the language. That being said, okay, I still am not fluent in the language after being here 6 years, but yeah, I'm still learning.
Thanks. Question from Ubesh. I didn't get the question, Ubesh. You're asking WES verification needed for BTech degree. So I assume that he has a BTech degree and he is asking whether another accreditation is required. So if a person has a degree, does he require an accreditation from WES?
No.
Question from SM. Erasmus University, is it an applied science or a technical university? And is MEL degree accredited from Rotterdam School of Management?
It's neither, because you have the University of Applied Sciences, which you have University of Applied Science, then you have university, and then you have 2 technical universities in Delft and Eindhoven. So Erasmus is just a university. And what was the second part?
Is the degree accredited from Rotterdam School of Management? And if not, then from where?
Yeah, so the degree you get, it's literally from Erasmus University Rotterdam, and then it's signed by both RSM and ESE faculties.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, there shouldn't be any concerns regarding, is this course an accredited course? It is definitely from a top university, and within the maritime field, this is definitely one of the top courses that you can do. So yeah, if somebody says they don't recognize this certificate, or they don't recognize this degree, then I would raise some serious questions on them back.
Right. So next question from Ubesh. This is a question which I've been asked quite a bit. In fact, today morning also I was talking to a naval arc on similar lines. So persons with technical background, right? So maybe a non-deck officer, a naval arc, an engineer, A lot of them, maybe they are a little bit more inclined towards technical side, or maybe not. But one apprehension which a few of them do have is that this is more of a, say, a supply chain and economics, maybe a management kind of course. So how does this gel in well with the technical background that these guys have?
Well, it just depends what you want to do with your technical background. If you want to continue into something very technical skill, subject specific, then indeed this might not be the course for you, as it just gives you more a wide range of other subjects within the industry, which might then not be of interest of you to find a job or pursue a career in later on. So it just kind of depends what you want to do with this technical background. What I can say is have had people who have a technical background, but that kind of want to make a switch into this, and they've been able to manage it well with their technical background, which helps them with the quantitative courses very much to be very well into that. So it just depends. Also, I would really say what you're looking for in your future career, I would say.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there have been quite a few candidates in the in the last few years who have come from very technical background, naval arcs, and again, you have lots of marine engineers also. To me personally, it's a nice mix. When you have a very technical education and then you come and do something little more broader like this, you see quite a few of them, in lots of in good positions in lots of top companies. But again, it depends again on the person himself, him or herself. Is that how they also look at themselves, and is that where they want to go? Is that how they want to take their career path? So to me personally, yeah, if somebody comes with that kind of background where they have a very strong like a naval arc technical background, and then also have something like MEL within their kitty, to me that's a very nice diverse skill set. Yeah.
Technical and management is a winning combination.
Yeah.
Abhishek Nishant probably would like your number. And then there is a question from Javed. There aren't any requirements to show IELTS or TOEFL if my undergrad is being done in English language. That's correct, Javed. That was earlier answered. Nishant's question: after graduation, how long people will get work visa? I assume it's 1 year. Is that correct? Yeah. Virendra's question: in public school, is public schooling free in Netherlands? And does it apply to kids of male students also?
Good question.
Okay.
I don't actually know the answer. I'm sorry.
No, so I'll tell you what. So public schooling is free. Okay, so if you bring your children here, public schooling is free. But public schooling here, the medium of instruction is in Dutch. So if you are here only for a year with a school-going child, my first recommendation is don't do it. Let your child continue back in India. Once you finish your course here and you decide that you want to stay back here, you have got a job, only then I would suggest to bring your child here, and then you can, because then okay, you are going to be here for a considerable amount of time, then you can put your child in primary school, in a local primary school, or secondary school, depending on what the age group is. That being said, there are also international schools, but international schools here are very few. There are very few international schools where the medium of instruction is English. So getting an admission in those schools is very less, and plus they are extremely expensive, because public education is free. So even though public education is free, and in Dutch, it is of very, very high quality. So if you look up the PISA tests, you will see that Netherlands is one of the top performing countries in that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think the last couple of questions from Nishant. We'd earlier said if one has BTech, then a WES verification is not required. Is it the same for a BSc degree as well?
For a Bachelor of Science degree?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, that's not required either.
Okay. So if a person has okay, and if WS, okay, no, the second question is not applicable. And then the question is that could you please shed more light on the scholarship possibilities? So how many percent people probably get a 20% tuition waiver? How many persons get the scholarship? Yeah.
Okay. It depends on the quality of scholarships that are received. On average, I would say 3 students per year get it within the range of 10 to 20%, depending also on the quality. So first, second, third kind of ranking per year.
Okay, great. All right, I think we're done with the questions. Almost a 2-hour session. Thanks for your time, Felicia. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for your time. I can possibly open it up for a discussion as well if someone wants to maybe talk about any particular thing. But before I do that, let me just take a question on interest for the program. How many of you are interested to attend this program? So it's a yes, no, you're not sure, you need time to decide. All right, I'll end the poll, and so about 33% persons who answered the poll, they said they would want to take this course. And to those persons who would like to enroll, what are your plans? You want to do it this year, next year, or you're still not sure? Okay, so there are about 3 persons that I know of who are going to MEL this year. Yeah, so maybe we could make a cohort of those persons, those who are interested to go for MEL this year, or maybe next also. So just sharing the results of the poll as well. Yep. That's pretty much it from my end.
Yeah, Gaurav, please feel free to share my email with anybody who wants to have more information. Yeah. Again, I give very unbiased opinions. I have very strong opinions at times, but if the course is not right for you, I will tell you straight off, this is not the right course for you. So yeah, please feel free to get in touch with me, because it is important that if you spend so much time and effort for something like this, you have to get the most value out of it. So please do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've shared your email ID in the chat. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it from our end. Thank you all the participants. You've about 30 of you. You've been in the webinar for 2 years. More importantly, Felicia, Abhishek, you've taken your time over a weekend, family time. More importantly, so really Thanks and appreciate everyone.